Hi, in this video we're going to look at 10 really important steps that you can't avoid or ignore if you want to make your way to financial freedom. Stick around to the end because number 10 is probably the most important one of the lot. Welcome back to Destination Wealth. So today we're going to look at 10 really important steps to attain financial freedom. They're all just as important as each other, but number 10 is probably the one I think is one of the most important. And whether you're at your initial stages of investing or you're aiming to enhance your current financial standing, maybe you've been investing for a while, but there's a couple of little things that are niggling you. Check these 10 out, they might just help. So let's dive in. Number 1, eliminate debt. Having debt can be a major hindrance in building wealth for obvious reasons. Now, not all debt is bad debt. Everyone's got to have a mortgage. Most people have to have a mortgage. But certain debt is the sort of debt you really need to stay away from. Or if you've got it, get rid. You don't want to be lugging around a hefty burden of debt. It's just not going to help you get to that financial freedom. So like I said, a mortgage or student debt is not necessarily bad debt. You still want to get rid of it. But if it's a mortgage, you want to be paying that off. Overpaying, you'll be amazed how much that can bring that term down and the monthly payments. Student debt is more of a tax, really. So when you are earning a certain amount, then it starts to come off your salary automatically through your pay packet, and it's classed as a tax, really. And most people, I think the figure is 83% of graduates never actually pay off that full amount. Depending on where you live in the country, it's usually wiped after 30 years. Now, that may change over the years, but currently, after 30 years, the debt is wiped. First step, if you've got other debts, is to create a list of all those debts, starting with your mortgage, student loans, and then working your way down. So you need to include credit card debt, overdraft balances, store cards that don't really exist that much anymore, any car finance, that sort of thing, any loans you might owe to family or friends, they shouldn't be very big. Then you need to prioritize them. The ones at the top, you put the ones with the highest interest rates. They're the ones you want to get rid of the quickest, and they will be your primary target. This is most likely to be your credit cards and your overdrafts. Now, if you've got loans or multiple credit cards, sometimes it's a good idea to look at consolidating all them into one. And someone like Money Saving Expert, go on his website there, he has some great information on there on how to do that and whether it's worthwhile and the best platforms out there. What you're trying to do is pay off as much as you can, as regularly as you can, but what can really help is if you can consolidate all that and get a reduced interest rate across the board. Now, you need to adopt a really disciplined repayment plan. Set up standing orders, set up direct debits, make them non-negotiable, and pay them every single month. If you want to be financially free, you need to get rid of this debt as quickly as possible before you can properly start investing. To do this, you can do things like trying to bring in extra funds. So you can sell old clothes, sell them on Vinted, sell them on eBay, anything that you can do to get that extra payment on there. It's amazing what a little bit of extra payment can do over the years. Say your clothes, unwanted electronics on Gumtree, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that, Vinted, and the money that you get in, just put it straight on that highest interest rate debt. Debt is probably the most common thing that prevents people from reaching financial freedom or even being financially comfortable. So get rid of it as quickly as possible. There's a well-known quote often attributed to Albert Einstein. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Now let that sink in a minute. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. To get from the he who pays it position to the he who earns it position, you need to eliminate all completely unnecessary debt. Then you can start saving and investing that money and getting yourself into the he who earns it club, which is where you really want to be. Number 2, streamline your finances. Automated bill payments, standing orders, direct debits will help you eliminate late fees, especially on credit cards and things like that. it also helps you maintain a really robust credit rating. Not only frees up your time, but it guarantees that you'll regularly pay off those nasty debts. As a bare minimum, make sure you have direct debits set up on all your credit cards to pay off the minimum required every month. But don't just leave it at that. You can't just pay off the minimum required, otherwise you'll be paying them forever. You need to overpay and make sure you pay off as much as you can, but always have that direct debit set up to pay off the bare minimum so you don't get any late fees. Because if you do, this will really hurt your credit rating and will probably affect whether you'll be able to get a loan later on if you need one, or even a mortgage. And it's the same kind of story if you're at the point where you've paid off your debts and you're saving and investing. Automate that. Standing orders into your SIPs, your ISAs, your stocks and shares ISAs, your savings. Automate it so that it comes out every month, so it's non-negotiable. It comes out the day you're paid, you never see it, you'll never miss it. If you do this immediately, as soon as you're paid your salary into your bank account, it means you're consistently setting aside funds. Now, not only set up these standing orders and direct debits, but periodically increase them. If you have wage increases or you get a promotion, salary increases, make sure you increase your payments into your savings and investments, and do it every year or whenever you get a bonus. Number 3, manage windfalls. Now, sometimes we're lucky enough to receive some unexpected cash. This could be a bonus from work, selling something. Well, that's not that unexpected, but you might get more for it than you thought. Tax refunds. I know they don't come very often, but sometimes you get them. Inheritance, or any other source really. If you save and invest that money, or a large portion of it, rather than spending it, this can really strengthen your journey to financial freedom. The temptation to just blow it all, splurge, buy this and that, stuff you don't really need, might be strong. And yes, of course you can treat yourself to a bit of it, but only a small bit. If you still have debt and you receive a windfall, allocate the majority of it to pay off that high interest debt. If you don't have any high interest debt or very little amount, then you can allocate the majority of it to your savings and investments. Number 4, safeguard your assets. This involves a safety net around your assets, like insurances and legal protections. First and foremost, the obvious: insurance on your house, your cars, health insurance, life insurance, income insurance, all that sort of thing. It's going to shield you from any unforeseen circumstances that mean you might not be able to work, you have a problem with your house, you have an accident in your car. This is a given and pretty much common sense. Now, estate planning becomes a really important part in preserving your assets. It preserves your assets for your spouse, your kids, charity, anyone else you may want to leave a legacy to. Drafting a will, forming trusts, and assigning beneficiaries means that your wealth is distributed in line with what you want. It follows your intentions and not left up to the government to decide who gets what. Inheritance tax can become a huge shock to those that receive it, so plan ahead. You'd also do well to stay ahead of current tax regulations to make sure you're paying your taxes but not paying more than you really have to, and see if you can seek out legal ways to reduce your tax burden. All in all, safeguarding your assets gives you peace of mind in knowing that your hard-earned cash and wealth and investments are securely protected for the long term. Number 5, multiple streams of income. How many sources of income do you think the average millionaire has? 1, 3, 5? Well, according to multiple studies, it's actually 7. That's a lot, right? But the full story is most likely it took them many, many years to get to that point. They all start out with 7 sources of income, many decades. So start now and maybe you'll get there. But where do you start? A small side hustle has the potential to revolutionize your current income on a monthly and yearly basis. Think about what you get enjoyment from in your spare time. Could you turn that into a side hustle? Could you make a product or give service to people and charge for it, for something that you love doing anyway? Perhaps you could create a YouTube channel talking about the things you're passionate about. Maybe consider providing freelance services, selling handcrafted goods online, selling unwanted clothes, electronics on eBay, Vinted, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace. You can cross-promote things on all of those platforms. Just remember to take them off once you sell it on one. All of these can bring in some decent supplementary cash that you can put to work. Just remember, if you buy or create products solely for the purpose of making profit, you need to declare this to the Inland Revenue as it's classed as income, and you'll have to fill in a tax return to declare it. But on the flip side of that, a side hustle business can give you some tax benefits and advantages. You can write off several things if you've purchased them for use in that business. I personally have had a small eBay side hustle business for quite some years now, and it's provided a very nice income that has paid for many family holidays and has also helped fund my investments. Number 6, seek out passive income streams. Now, a passive income stream is something that has the ability to earn you money while you sleep. Sounds great, doesn't it? If you've got multiple income streams, ideally you want as many of them to be passive as possible. There's lots of options out there, and although they are passive, many of them require some work in the beginning to get to that stage. Some of them quite a lot of work, but once you've done that work, then it just keeps generating money for you. Let's have a look at some. Rental properties. Now, these have the potential to bring in consistent, regular income through tenant and rent payments. And if done properly, the income should cover the mortgage on the rental property, as well as any maintenance fees or property management expenses, and also yield a surplus. These properties are also usually assets that appreciate in value over time, enhancing your overall wealth and net worth. Now, this type of endeavor does have a slightly higher barrier to entry. You need to know what you're doing. You need to have some capital. You've got to have some money to put down on deposits. And it's harder to exit and consolidate those funds, as you need to sell the property on to do this entirely. Personally, my favorite passive income stream is dividend investing. Investing in dividend paying stocks and ETFs means you receive a regular dividend payment from those companies, usually usually twice a year or 4 times a year. Sometimes they pay special dividends without any daily hands-on management. Once you've bought those stocks, if they're dividend paying stocks, they'll just keep paying you year after year. These dividends you can then reinvest back into those stocks, which will buy you more of that stock, which in turn will then pay you more and more dividends. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it can result in a big enough dividend snowball each year that it covers your bills and expenses, and if invested long enough, can eventually cover your current salary and your bills and expenses. You could also look at a monetized YouTube channel, and this can offer a quite exciting gateway into passive income. Again, there's a reasonably high barrier to entry. There's a lot of work you've got to put in, a lot of learning. You have to learn how to be an editor, a filmmaker, a script writer, and you have to have something you're passionate about like this that you can talk about on camera. But if you've got a hobby, something you're really good at, and you're doing it anyway, why not film yourself, stick it up on YouTube, see if anyone's interested in it. Do it for long enough and you're passionate about it and you're consistent, guaranteed there's people out there who are also interested in the same thing. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, YouTube will then pay you for the adverts that they run on your videos. They run ads anyway, most of the time, whether you're monetized or not. But once you reach that threshold, they will start paying you towards that. You can earn some pretty good money depending on the amount of views you're getting and the watch time that you're getting on your videos. And once you've created these videos, if you create what's called evergreen videos, which are ones that are still relevant now and will be in 5-10 years time, people are still watching them, and you're monetized, money will just keep coming in. In summary on this one, passive income side hustles can really accelerate your transition into financial freedom, and something you should really look at. Number 7, expand your financial education. So many people go to school, go to college, go to university, they get their A-levels, they get their degree, they get their BA honours first or 2-1, and they think that's it, that's the end of my education, it's time to go work now. So they'll go to work and they might do the odd work related training scheme, but don't actually learn anymore. or learn anything new. It's really important to continually learn, especially learning about investing and finance, because things change. The more you understand about how money works, the easier it is to make it, invest it, and grow it, and make really good informed decisions so that you don't lose it. Start by reading books on investing and wealth, taking online courses, attending seminars, and following reputable financial experts on social media. Learn about budgeting, investing, debt, and understanding financial markets and how they work. If you broaden your financial education, you not only gain the confidence to navigate the complexities of personal finance, but you can adapt quicker to the changing landscape, because everything changes. New governments get in, they change tax regimes, they change everything. You never really know what's going to be happening next year. So you need to keep on top of it. You don't want to be paying more tax than you have to, and you want to be earning more interest. You don't want to be paying more interest than you need to. These things change all the time, so keep ahead of the game and know what's going on. Your end goal is to accumulate as much money as possible and make it work for you. Number 8, focus on long-term investing. When you're striving for financial independence and a happy retirement, more money than you know what to do with, or just a comfortable amount, then it's imperative you focus on investing for the long term. Even if you're 50, you should have a 10-year plus financial horizon. A commitment to the long term gives you the ability to level out those financial ups and downs you see. Things like financial crisis, Brexit, pandemic, huge drops in financial markets. But stretch that out on a long-term chart, you can barely see them. They're tiny blips. Get scared out on those drops, then you jump out of the market and you miss the huge gains that quickly follow. So stay invested, focus on the long term. It's really important to understand that obtaining financial freedom is not a quick achievement, but rather a lengthy journey, and a journey that you should be enjoying along the way. Stay patient, stay invested, maintain your determination, and you'll reach your financial goals. Number 9, leaving a lasting legacy. Now, leaving a financial legacy means deliberately and thoughtfully allocating all of your assets with the intent of leaving a lasting imprint that exceeds beyond your own lifetime. This includes strategic planning of how your assets will be distributed through wills, trusts, and charitable giving, and it will provide support to causes that are close to your heart, or loved ones, family members, friends, even anyone who holds significant importance in your life. You want to ensure that all your hard-earned cash and investments that you spent your whole lifetime accruing serves a broader purpose once you're gone. Maybe it contributes to the enhancement of your local society or the well-being of family generations to come. It's about leaving an enduring reminder of your influence on the world. Now we've come to number 10, and probably the one I think is one of the most important, the one that's made the most difference to me over the years, and that is thinking wealthy. Thinking wealthy is so crucial to setting you on the path to financial freedom. Something that I never really thought about years ago, but it's massive to me now, and I think about it all the time. I've read lots of books, watched lots of YouTube videos, and listened to lots of podcasts on the subject. The path to becoming truly abundant is a mindset that goes beyond material possessions, and it's about cultivating a positive relationship with money and abundance. When you think wealthy, you open your mind to opportunities, investments, and financial strategies that can lead to really excel your wealth creation. Now, I could go on about this for ages. I just recommend, if you've not heard of it, you go and buy a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or look for the audio recordings. There's a guy on YouTube called Earl Nightingale, amazing reading voice, who reads the whole book and does cut down versions of the book. And Earl Nightingale also wrote a book called The Strangest Secret, which you can listen to the audiobook of him reading it online as well. And it's just amazing. Read that book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and listen to as many Earl Nightingale recordings as you can, and it will blow your mind. It will completely change how you think about earning, being successful, being wealthy. You won't regret it. Trust me, they'll change your life. Now, if you want to know how I grew my investments from pretty much nothing up to £250,000, check out this video next. See ya.